welcome to another episode of Flea Market Fantasy, the world's second greatest Bronze Age comic book podcast. Joining me, as always, is new Mike A.O., Kevin Jank.
I heard that the new ratings came out, and we're teetering on the brink of being third, so we got to really bring it this week.
Well, we'll see. I don't know about if we can really bring it or not. But so, Jank, it's your choice this week, and you wanted to do a special holiday issue. And I was going to pick a holiday issue, too, at the end of this episode, but then I realized that the next episode will be out after Christmas, so I'm not doing it. Ooh. But you celebrated you celebrated the holiday by choosing a special Christmas comic book for the kids, continuing the tradition that Mike L. beat us over the head with for 3 years. So what did you choose?
Well, as tradition states, we have to do a DC Comics Christmas special. But I know that there's one thing you don't really like, and that's, DC superheroes. Yeah. But there is one thing you do really, really like.
Yeah.
Women with enormous breasts.
That is true. Guilty. Yeah.
So I figured the Elvira's Haunted Holidays Christmas special, from 1987, I think.
I think so, yeah. Elvira.
Yeah, I thought that would be a good choice.
Yeah, it is 1987. Now, how much history do you have with Elvira? I'm sure people out there are like, Elvira, she had a comic book? Yeah, that's right. Were a fan of Elvira at any point? Because I don't know. Everyone knows who Elvira is, but why though? Like I've never really seen
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, she had her own movie. Like, she had that show for fucking ever. I think she's still, even a couple of years ago, still doing specials and stuff. Like, Tubi is littered with Elvira content. I know I see those popping up all the time on there. But I don't know. I can't even say that I've ever sat down to watch her much. But yeah, like you said, everybody knows who she is. And you know her style of humor, too. So it's like, I picked that up somewhere. But how? Because I didn't really watch her show.
Yeah, I've never seen a movie she's been in. I've never, like, you keep referencing her show, but when you say that, like, what show are you referring to exactly?
She was one of those horror hosts, kind of like that Joe Bob Briggs that Larry likes to watch, where she would, pick a movie, like an old shitty movie, kind of like what we do on the LCS Hockey Show. And,
these days.
Like, she would show the movie and then, kind of interrupt it by, talking shit about it and, cut back to it. And she was like the host of the movie, essentially.
Yeah.
They don't do much anymore, but, they used to have that where Spenduguli was a big one here in Chicago.
Yeah, Spenduguli still runs, here on one of our local stations. So, did you actually see her do the, like, all right, because from what I learned about her, I'll just give you the backstory on Elvira, and then you can discuss it. Her real name is Cassandra Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Good solid name. Born in 1951 in Manhattan, Kansas. So not the Manhattan you think. Manhattan, Kansas.
Well, those farm girls are growing big.
Yeah. She was a member of, I'll hold off on that note. Let's go.
You say she was a member of Local H?
No. That's an LCS reference from last week. Good job. We'll start with this note that I wrote much later in the thing. When she was 17, she took a trip to Las Vegas and was noticed by producers of a live show there in Vegas. They just happened to spot her in the crowd or walking around Vegas or something. So right away, that tells you she was pretty foxy as a 17-year-old. If Vegas producers are noticing you when you're walking around.
Yeah.
The show wanted to hire her right away, but she was only 17. So she convinced her parents, though, that she could sign a contract to join the club or whatever, the show, but she had to finish school first. So she came back home to Kansas, finished high school, then as soon as she graduated, she went back to Vegas and joined this show. And this show was called Viva Les Girls, and it was at the Dunes. And it's Viva Les Girls with an exclamation point. And I'm a scholar. I enjoy scholarly research.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in and I did some scholarly research, and apparently that was a topless show.
Holy hell.
Yeah, they're just dancing around topless there.
18-year-old Cassandra Peter.
Yeah, she's in a topless show. And while she was working as a showgirl there, she met Elvis, and they went out on a date. How about that?
Yeah.
Elvira,
I mean, he probably dated most, like, half of America at a certain point, so.
That's pretty good, though.
This is not that rare. Yeah.
I wonder if that's how she got inspiration for the name Elvira by Elvis.
Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
So then
an unusual name.
Yeah, so if she was, this would all be happening around 1968, 69, 70 in that run. And then in 1971, she had a small role as a showgirl in Diamonds Are Forever, the old James Bond movie.
Okay.
John Connery.
Yep.
And I did not know that. And then here's a quote from her Wikipedia page. Because when I was doing my scholarly research, I also encountered many pictures of her naked. And here's the explanation for that, why those photos happened. Perhaps the biggest mistake I made in my 20s was posing nude for a husband and wife photography team who bullshitted me into doing what they said was a test shoot for Penthouse magazine. They guaranteed me it would never be seen anywhere publicly. I never saw or heard from them again. As far as I knew, that was the end of that. Until 1981, when I became famous. Those photos, pubic hair and all, appeared in every sleazy men's magazine on the stand, and there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. So that's pretty awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
at least your biggest regret is having all those pubes.
No. That wasn't the biggest regret. The biggest regret was that she got taken advantage of. She didn't even get paid for all those photos, you know? Like they all got taken, and then, man.
Wow, she fell for the original version of the Bang Bus, sounds like. No, this is just for us. This isn't going on the internet.
That's clearly a reference that I don't understand. But maybe I do, maybe I don't. But it's also very similar to an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati, where Lonnie Anderson is she's doing a beach photo shoot for the radio station there. Fun in the Sun is what is going to be for the Cincinnati radio station. And the creepy photographer sneakily takes pictures of her when she's changing, and then he tries to sell them, though, the nude magazines. It sounds
Wasn't that a plot for a She-Hulk at one point, too?
I don't know. I've never read She-Hulk, really.
I thought during the John Byrne era, there was a whole thing where, like, some, sleazy photographer kind of snuck nude pictures of her and was posting them in magazines.
I would read way more comic books these days if they were all based on episodes of WKRP. I think everyone should do that. Just rip off WKRP. But, so, now in that quote, she says in 1981, and I got famous. So how did she get famous? Well, she was a member of the Groundlings comedy troupe in Los Angeles. You know, that famous comedy, the Groundlings, you know?
Yeah. I think that's probably where she became with Paul Rubens, because I know they're
That's
buddies.
exactly right.
Yep.
Because I didn't even know they were buddies until I'm doing all this research. And she is buddies with Paul Rubens because they were in the Groundlings together. And she got hired by she created the character Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And again, this is just like a spooky she's not really a witch, really. She's just a ghoulish horror lady.
She's very pale, so I don't know if she's supposed to be a vampire or...
Yeah, probably vampire. Well, she doesn't have the teeth or anything, though, you know?
No. Yeah, she's just kind of all manner of creatures combined into one.
And she wears a very low-cut dress, slit up the side, and big hair, and yeah, she's foxy, ghoulish lady. And so that was the character. And it was created for a TV show called Elvira's Movie Macabre. And it was, like you said, it's a weekly B-movie presentation on KHJ-TV in Los Angeles.
Oh.
So then, did it become syndicated at some point, or like how would like people out in the East see it? You know? Or?
Yeah, it had to be syndicated. I couldn't tell you what channel it was on when I was a kid, but somehow I was aware of it, so the word got out.
I have no idea. The show's popularity led to the 1988 movie Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
In 2001, she made a second movie, Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Oh.
What do you think?
For her boobies?
I think so. Hey, she was also a guest commentator on WrestleMania 2.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have been like 80. I'd have been around 86, 87.
Yeah.
So how about that? And you mentioned her friendship with Paul Rubens. She was also in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh.
Do you remember that? I watched this scene last night because I didn't remember her in there. Do you remember what the scene was she was in? She's not as Elvira. She's
No. It's definitely not Elvira. No, I'm not sure.
It's when he goes to the bar right before he does the big shoe dance.
Mm-hmm.
And
the lady at the bar.
Yeah,
he's like,
all
why
the
don't you have him first?
That's right. All the bikers
Yeah.
are saying they're killing him and everything, and this bosomy biker lady comes up and says, "Why don't you let me have him first?" And that's Elvira without the makeup and the hair and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Pee-wee should have let her have him.
Like I watched that last night. And, dude, that movie's fucking funny. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
that movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's very good.
It still holds up.
Yes, it's a very good movie. I know it sounds stupid. Like, oh, Pee-wee. No, it's very good. All right. Yeah, anyway,
it's incredible. I love it.
So how did Elvira get mixed up with DC Comics? Well, they had DC's got this House of Mystery nonsense that they did, and Mike Gale made us do an issue. It seemed like every other month. And so then in 1986, 87 there, they said, hey, why don't we cash on this Elvira and make her the host of House of Mystery? Because normally it's that Kane guy. His name's Kane.
Oh, right.
And then he has his brother Abel or whatever. And they appear in this book as well.
Oh, I was wondering who these guys were.
Yeah. It's okay. Kane and Abel.
They're carried over from that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this wasn't officially so they started a new series called Elvira's House of Mystery. And it ran for 11 issues and this holiday special. And that was it. So,
where did this holiday special fall in the run there? Was it like at the very end or just somewhere in the middle?
Well, towards the end, because it started in 86, right? So, or wait a minute, maybe this was first. I don't know, depending on how you date the books.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what? That's a very good question. We'll ask our crack research staff to look into it, and then we'll get back to you. But I have no idea. But it only lasted the 1 year. Issue 3 of the series was released without the Comics Code approval. They were trying to do a little experiment there, trying to make things a little racier, So what I read was they're trying to more violence and implied nudity. So of course I had to do research. I'm a scholar.
Yeah.
So I went back and I looked at that issue, and it's just the kind of thing you always see in comics, where like if a lady's taking a shower or something, there'll be like steam in front of her boobs.
Oh,
you know
sure.
One of them. So there's just a couple.
I used to do that like every other issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Colossus is going to be painting Psylocke naked for some reason. All right.
So there's like, instead of just one instance of that, there's like 4. You know what I mean? So, but otherwise, I didn't notice anything too egregious when I was flipping through it. So, but it was just the one issue, and apparently people wrote in saying they didn't like it, that they preferred being.
Oh.
Yeah, which is odd. But,
yeah, those people are losers. I don't want to be too people, but yeah.
They're dumb. That's what those people are.
What's wrong? It doesn't even sound like it's that racy. Like, it's not like, my God, this is a Kevin Smith movie or something all of a sudden. Like,
yeah, I thought it was going to be like full on nudity, you know?
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, like, we've been doing those black and white comic magazine deals the last couple of months. Every once in a while in those, you'll see, there's a naked lady. There's just a naked lady right there. And, but no, it's not even that. It was all, unless I missed something, it all seemed pretty tame when I was flipping through it. But anyway. So the writer for this issue here today, it's an anthology, these books. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just going to focus on the creators of the Elvira story. And, the writer is a guy named Joey Cavalieri. Did you ever hear of him?
No.
Yeah, I never did either. He was born in Anchorage, Alaska. He graduated from New York School of Visual Arts in 1979. He worked 3 years as a freelancer and then joined DC full-time in 1982. He has 190 rating credits at DC. His first publication was House of Mystery 292 in 1981. Then he wrote a bunch of Green Arrow backup stories and detective comics from 1982 to 86. He wrote issues 1 to 3, 5, 6, and the special 1 of Elvira's House of Mystery. He also did the first 19 issues of The Huntress in 1989-90. I don't know. I'm guessing that series continued after issue 19. I don't know, but he did the first 19.
Yeah. They may have rebooted it a couple of times, tried it, kept failing, and they kept trying to bring Huntress back. I know that much.
Here's the big one, though. In 1992, he wrote Mystery Quarterly, issue 8.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he wrote an issue of Mystery. Then he went to Marvel, and he had 43 writing credits there. He did 16 issues of Marvel Comics Presents from 92 to 93. He did a couple issues of the Avengers, a couple issues of Web of Spider-Man in 1994. Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, the limited series 1 through 4, he did all 4 issues in 1994. Did you ever read that?
I think I own it, but have not read it.
What is it with you and Mike L? You always own comics and you never read them. What is that about?
No, I buy so many comics that I don't have time to keep up.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
He was
at least
also,
I don't just sell them before I read them.
Yeah. Mike L. Steve Englehart collection. He's also the editor of the Marvel 2099 books from 1992 to 1996.
Okay.
Did you ever read any of those?
Yeah, I've read a lot of the Spider-Man 2099. Again, I haven't quite finished it all yet, but I've read a bit of it. And that one's good. That's Peter David. The rest, I don't know. Like Ravage was just like some guy who I don't know, like cycling or something. I don't know. It's pretty bad. X-Men 2099, not that great. Some of the characters look cool, but I don't know. Wasn't great. And then it was like Doom 2099, which I think was supposed to be some guy who thought he was Dr. Doom. He may or may not be. I'm not sure if that ever got answered.
Do they still do those books, or do they end them?
They do try to bring it back every once in a while. In fact, just this year there was a 2099 event where they were bringing it back for like a limited series. Like it was just kind of maybe 6 issues or so. Focused mostly on Spider-Man, but also bringing in other characters. It seems like Spider-Man 2099 is the big one that they keep going back to the most.
Yeah. The artist in this book for at least the Elvira story is Frank Springer. We've discussed him on the show many times. I think if you go back and listen to the Invaders episode we did, I'm pretty sure he drew that one. And he drew a couple other things maybe. But he's an old veteran comic book artist by this point. And he only drew this holiday special. This is the only story he did of the Elvira run was in this story. At least I think so. I believe that is true. According to my notes. So anyway, that's the background for this book. Now I guess let's look at the issue itself. Why don't you describe the cover for everybody, Jake?
It's a very bright Christmassy cover. We got the logo, the DC logo up in the top corner. And this is special in big red letters. Elvira's Haunted Holiday. This is Elvira's House of Mystery presents Elvira's Haunted Holiday. It's got this yellow kind of, scroll border. And then underneath it's a green cover. And then there's Santa Claus. He's sitting in his, his chair, basically at the mall, I guess. And Elvira's there sitting on his lap. Very, very pale. Like she's normally pretty pale and reflex. This one they went like flat white. Like kind of like Tombstone in the Spider-Man book.
Exactly what I was just going to say. She looks like the wife of Tombstone.
Yeah. The little blue tint and everything. You're like, yeah. So she's extra pale here. But she's like kind of stroking Santa Claus's cheek and going like, and then I want, and she's got this massive list, just, scrolling down to the floor of all the things she wants for Christmas.
Now when I'm looking at the list, you can kind of make out some stuff. And,
some of it.
I think going from the top down, I think it says mittens, shoes, articles. Why would you? Is that
that's a weird one. I was like, what is that one?
I think purse is next.
Yeah.
Linen? I don't know what's under linen.
I don't know why she wants tin with an exclamation point.
Oh, that's tin?
I don't know.
What's under that?
Fuck.
Oh, you know what? Is it Tin Man? She wants a Tin Man?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that would make sense, I guess.
Would it? I don't know if it looks like that.
Not really. They do mention Wizard of Oz a couple of times in this book.
Oh, then I don't know what's under the Tin Man or whatever the fuck they did.
Yeah, then they just started running out of things. They're just scribbling. This is
Well, I think
new items for Xmas down at the very bottom for some reason.
yeah, Elvira, when you're the mistress of the dark, when you compose a list, you write the subject at the bottom, and then you build a list from the top. I think one is fashion books. I think fashion books. And then,
Okay.
And then maybe games, because they see an AMES, maybe, but games or something, board games or something, video games. But yeah, it's a little weird. And there's a little elf guy looking at the list, and he's like, "Holy shit, look at that list!" You know? And,
yeah, the list is what he's looking at.
Yeah. Well, he's not tall enough to see.
That's true.
And there's
look at
a
a nice
reindeer.
little corner box at the bottom left corner there. It says, "Who watches the Watchmen?"
Yeah, who watches the Watchmen?
Yeah.
Hey, you know, and as we learned here on this show, you know what the Watchmen watch? Squadron Supreme. They just ripped it off. There you go. But I like the cover. You know, it's a good cover. He drew this. George Lopez. How is he? It looks like doesn't that look like Lopez underneath the L? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look who drew this. I forgot to look it up.
Wow.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's good. I like it. There's a reindeer in the back. And all it's pretty solid. Very colorful.
This is the part of the show where we Google things. On 1 second. Wow, there's a lot of fucking. My search results did not bring up the book right away, so.
At least you're not looking at a modern day comic where there'd be like 17 different variant covers. Like, which artist are you looking for?
The cover artist is Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Oh, no wonder he shortened it on the cover here. That would take up the whole cover in and of itself.
But I know we've talked about him before, and I do like his art in the past. I can't remember what it was he drew that we discussed, but it was a DC thing. But I did like his art before. So anyway.
Yeah, no, it's very solid. Good composition. I like it.
All right, so now we open up the book, and we see Elvira stretched out on her bed with red satin sheets, I guess. And again, showing a lot of cleavage, like way, you know? And she's
like kind of laying, you know, like facing camera, so she's kind of pointed downward, so there's a lot of gravity there.
Yeah, and a lot of legs, and her hands up to her forehead, and she's like exhausted, you know. She's like, she's spent. And she says,
people in letter columns probably hated this one too.
Yeah, jerks.
Put a shirt on, Elvira.
She says, maybe some time for some tunes on the box before I hit the hay. Maybe I'll hear my favorite, the Dorothy song. The one that goes, I fight Dorothy, Dorothy always wins. What is that mean?
I assume that's, you know, the Authority song. And
I fought the law.
No, I fight Authority, and Authority always wins.
Oh.
Like, I think. Or.
Oh, okay, so she just heard it wrong.
Yeah.
They're doing a little joke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I know what you're saying.
Didn't quite work. But,
maybe in 87 it was cutting edge humor.
Yeah. That's always the risk with these, like, music. You try to, like, do music quotes. Are people going to get this in, you know, later years? They might know that song, but without actually hearing it, it's hard to pick up.
And so then, but everything, every station she turns to on the radio there, it's nothing but Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Hey, look, she does kind of have vampire fangs in the second panel.
Yeah, a little bit.
So maybe she is just a straight up vampire.
Yeah, she does kind of look like, if you ever saw Scooby-Doo in the Ghoul School back in the day, like.
I did not see that.
Oh. Like Scooby and Shaggy and Scrappy, I think, were teaching at this school. They were teaching gym, and it was like a school for like the children of monsters. And there was a vampire girl who was a lot like, you know, I think she was a ghoul actually. Yeah, so maybe it's, I don't know. I think it was no, she was a vampire. Yeah, she turned into a bat. Yeah, she was a vampire. and she looks a lot like Elvira, so that's kind of why I'm thinking she's a vampire.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if real human Elvira. Whenever I've ever seen pictures of her, I've never detected fangs, but
No, I've never seen fangs on the real one.
but yeah, you can kind of. Frank Springer did draw some fangs in here.
Yeah. And they made her extra pale. Like, you can't really do that with a human. It was the same thing on, like, Buffy and that kind of thing. Like, David Boreanaz can't go tanning, but he's got to go out in the sun at some point. So you can only do so much.
So she's all mad at the Christmas carols on the radio. She's flipping out, and then she hears people Christmas caroling outside her window, and she opens up and she looks out the window, and it's Cain and Abel, the guys who's in it now. Cain is a weird little dude with a weird haircut and like a pointy goatee kind of beard and glasses. And his brother Abel, I guess that's Abel. He kind of looks like Dom DeLuise. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Guess that's him.
So I'm assuming they would pop up in the Elvira's House of Mystery from time to time, just like, and she would give them shit. She took their jobs.
And she would make fun of them and shit. And so she's out the window yelling at him like, "Get out of here!" And she threatens them like she's gonna make them look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer if you get my drift. She's gonna punch him in the nose.
Some whiskey.
No. She's gonna sock him right in the nose.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense.
And then we see her stretched out on the bed again, and she's all sad and wants to just go to sleep because she hates Christmas. But then what happens, Jack?
Well, she's visited by the ghost of Christmas past coming to show her the meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
And she does mention her Aunt Em. Well, I mean, I guess this is another Wizard of Oz reference, but she does mention coming from Kansas. So
yeah. How about
they kept
that
part of her backstory.
Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah,
this ghost of Christmas past. At first, I thought it was Cain. He looks kind of similar, but I don't think it is, right?
I don't think so.
Just a guy with a
very
white
old
beard.
tiny ghost of Christmas past, which made more sense if it was Ebenezer Scrooge, but for 1980s Elvira, I don't know why this is her ghost of Christmas past, but whatever. It's traditional, I guess.
Hey, when I did this way back in like 1995 on the LCS hockey website there, I did a Christmas Carol parody. And I had the ghost of Christmas past come to visit me. And I believe my ghost of Christmas past was Gary Coleman. I believe.
Well, you're nothing if not consistent. That's what I appreciate about you.
27 years later, and I'm still making frequent Gary Coleman references. But Elvira, so the ghost is taking Elvira back to see her as a child. And she's in this little one-room schoolhouse, and all the kids are cutting up their paper.
We get the first mention here of her main gripe with Christmas, apparently, is that it forces you to pay attention to it.
Oh, that is the worst. That is the worst.
That wasn't well thought out.
It forces you to pay attention to it. I don't want to pay attention to it. So all the kids are making little Christmas ornaments and stuff with their papers. But Elvira, she makes a string of bats.
Mm-hmm. Which still, I mean, they don't look that bat-like. They kind of still look like garland. That could just as well be a wreath.
Because she used, the teacher's mad that she used all the green construction paper. But yeah, she made bats. Yeah, it looks like holly even. Just put some red dots on it. Like it's holly and mistletoe. Yeah, whatever.
You did the assignment correctly.
But Elvira, as a little girl, she's got the big hairdo, but her hair's in pigtails. And
it's an interesting look.
They should have had her in the dress though, right? Like they have her dressed in like a sweatshirt, like a little kid or something. They should have just put her in the evening gown still. That'd have been pretty funny.
It is great that between her and Pee-wee, they were really trying to get the beehive going in the 80s there.
That is true.
Savant always had that beehive and stuff
So then they go flying around some more and they see little Elvira. She's
pulling a Star-Lord. Gonna burn down the school, except no aliens came to stop her.
Yeah, she has a canister of gasoline and she's putting up a bunch of kindling around the school. Yeah, she's going to light the school on fire.
Yeah. And we never see what happens, but I assume she did and murdered everyone inside.
This takes a dark turn, this story.
It really did. Elvira's past is not to be fucked with.
So the ghost guy, he drops her back off in the bed there at her home. And next thing you know, I got to tell you, Frank Springer, he draws a nice Elvira. Like, look at her sitting there. I like that. And he drops her off, and then, hey, Elvira. Oh, yeah, so that was Kane, the ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, here's Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they colored his beard white instead of, usually it's like reddish brown or whatever. I don't know. But anyway,
to know the differences in his drawing.
So then the ghost of Christmas Present shows up, and yeah, it's Dom DeLuise / Abel, and Elvira's there with him, and he's like, I'm going to show you, the joys of Christmas Present. So they fly. Where do they fly?
One Christmas present I'd send back.
Yeah, the jokes in this are super corny. Super corny.
Yeah, but these are the kind of jokes Elvira would make, so I think it's in character.
All right. Fair enough. I guess when you're a foxy lady in a low cut dress, you can pretty much do any jokes you want, and no one cares. So all right, whatever. So where does he take her? He takes her to New York and just sees all the people yelling and buying presents. And
this wasn't very well thought out. I don't know how he expected this was going to make her feel anything other than disgust. Everybody's honking in traffic.
Yeah, so at the end he's like,
people
well,
are fighting at the store.
If I couldn't convince you of the value of Christmas, the third ghost certainly will. How did he think that was going to convince her of the value of Christmas?
I don't know. It was a very lame attempt. Tom DeLuise must be already thinking about his lunch break or something.
Like, these would be the things you show someone to get them to hate Christmas.
Yeah. Remember the time you burned down the school? You gave them all a present of death.
So he drops her off at her house, and she's like, "Oh well, I'm going to go watch some TV here while I wait for that other ghost to show up." And but it's a bunch more Christmas shit on TV, and she's all mad about that.
Beach.
Oh yeah, say that again. You broke up. Yeah, what's the name of the movie?
Where's the Horror Party Beach?
That sounds like a movie we would watch on LCS.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'd like to see that.
Me too.
Now this next, the Ghost of Christmas Future comes. Is this the Phantom Stranger? Is that this guy?
I don't know who the Phantom Stranger is.
Oh, he's a dopey DC character we've encountered with Mike Gale many times. But he kind of has like a purple robe here, and he kind of looks like the Phantom Stranger the way he dresses him. So I don't know if it's supposed to be him or not, but
yeah, I'm looking. Anyway. He definitely has a different look, but I can see it with the eyes.
Yeah, like just like he usually has a hat and stuff, but here he's wearing a cloak with a hood. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So he takes Elvira, and they go flying to like a distant future where everything's just destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow this terrifies Elvira.
Yeah, you'd think she'd be all over this.
I know. Like I don't know why this makes her sad.
Yeah, but he, much like all the other, Ghosts of Christmas Future, he's not really talking. He's just showing. And she's like, "Oh, so this is what might be. It might be if things go on like they have. It might be unless we take time out to see where we are and where we're going. And Christmas is as good as time as any." So that's the lesson she learned. Is I guess we should think about the world every once in a while, and Christmas is a time for that.
None of this makes any fucking sense.
Christmas, but no.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. She says, "Yeah, it sounds to me like people could do worse than to have Christmas jammed down their throats once a year." All right, big guy, you made your point. He did? Now get me out of here. So he flies her back home, and she wakes up in her bed. And she hops out, and and just like Scrooge looking down at the kid in the street, and gives him money to buy a Christmas ham or whatever. She's like, "Hey, kid."
Big old
he's like,
hanging in there.
He's like, "You talking to me? Brilliant boy, remarkable boy. You know that giant blood-sucking bat that lives in the cavern just outside the city limits? You mean the one that's as big as me? Astounding boy, incredible boy. You're not a rocket scientist in your spare time, are you? Kid, you get that bat and deliver it to a pair of goons named Cain and Abel for me, will ya? Here's some bucks in it for you. And she throws some money down there. So this kid's like, yeah, ooh, Merry Christmas. And then Elvira looks at the camera and she says, the joy of Yuletide giving. I'm all for it as long as I give and a couple of chumps I know get it. So,
yeah.
That's something. So
look out, Abel. If this kid isn't murdered by that bat.
Yes.
That's as big as him.
I get what they're going for, the little joke there. But a small child is going to go to a cave to wrestle a blood-sucking vampire bat, capture it,
that's how COVID
haul
started.
it back into town, and then deliver it to Cain and Abel. Well, that's not how COVID started, but that's a story for another day. And he took that and he gave it to Cain and Abel. That makes no sense whatsoever. But
yeah,
it does make. But this does make more sense than that wet market bullshit they were trying to push. But hey, it's the joy of Yuletide giving, and she gave it to a couple of chumps. So
yeah.
So there it is. That's the Elvira story. We'll talk about these other stories here. But what'd you think of that Elvira?
I kind of liked it, even though it made no sense. I appreciated that it never really turned into a normal Christmas story, I guess, where it still kept that kind of cynical side to it the entire time.
Well, until the end. You know, then she's like, all right.
Well, I mean, she even then she didn't really learn her lesson. She's going to give, these guys a giant bat.
I suppose. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the end with the Phantom Stranger guy where she's like, oh, I seem to err in my ways. Christmas isn't so bad. But yeah. All right.
Yeah, but even then she was like, all right, I guess it's okay. Like, she wasn't like, oh, good, I'm all about giving towards man now. Like, I've changed my entire worldview.
Yeah, I liked Elvira. I thought she was great, and Frank Springer made her very attractive to look at. So that was nice. But I don't. The story points didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's still like kind of enjoyed it. But
yeah, it's fun. It's not. When it comes to Christmas Carol Christmas Carol parodies, it's not the greatest, but
no,
it's fine.
In the LCS parody I did, I was a ruthless dictator of the LCS staff, bossing around Zippy and Matthew and Jim Ivina, And when the ghost came to me, because I hated Christmas, and the reason I hated Christmas was because when I was a child, my parents gave me a bike, and I wanted a Hartford Whalers jersey.
Oh,
see how that worked?
Yep, that'll do it.
And then the ghost that visited me, Gary Coleman, I think, man, wow, so long ago, I can't remember. I think Gary may have showed up twice. And
it was like an older Gary showed up in the future.
I can't remember if Don Knotts or Abe Vigoda I think Abe Vigoda was the ghost of Christmas Future. I think. Man, I haven't read that in so long.
We're really betting on him being around in the future.
Anyway. So, all right, so the next story, we get, oh, what fun to laugh and sing a slaying song tonight. But slaying is spelled S-L-A-Y-I-N-G.
Yeah.
Fun with homophones.
No, I don't know why they didn't have Elvira, introducing this story at least.
Yeah.
Or just popping up once in a while to comment on it. But even just an introduction and a wrap-up would have been nice.
Yeah, anything would have helped this.
Yeah. No, actually, I like this story a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you describe it for the kids. The writer is Michael Fleischer. That name's very familiar. Maybe I'm thinking of Charles Fleischer. Wasn't he?
Yeah. It was a bigger name.
He's the voice of Roger Rabbit, right? And then he was on Welcome Back, Kotter, too. The art is by Jack Sparling. I do not know who that is.
Nope.
So. All right, Jank. Well,
he draws a good-looking dude, that's for sure.
This is a weird-looking guy. Or you walk the kids through this story. Take it away.
Okay, so there's a guy. He's out. It's a busy, crowded street during Christmas time, and he's just knocking this lady over with her packages. He says, "Damn it, bimbo, out of the way!"
Bimbo.
And there's a cop. There's a cop chasing him. We get the impression here he's a robber. He's got a gun in his coat there. He's trying to get away from this cop. He shoots the cop, and then the cop radios in, "Hey, we got to go after this Oninja Smith." Like, I don't know where they got this fucking name.
Onija Smith. Yeah.
Oninja.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I really like that this is 1987 and Bimbo is still popular.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear people called Bimbo too much these days.
Yeah, not nearly enough.
When I was a kid, Bimbo was a big deal because like Laverne and Shirley, they were always using Bimbo. I think I seem to recall.
They're keeping it alive. Yeah,
Anyway.
sounds like them. So he jumps over a fence, and he's trying to get away from this cop still, even though he shot the cop. But whatever. He's got to get out of town. He's like, I don't have enough bread to get out of town, so I got to get some money here. So he sees one of those kind of Salvation Army Santas walking around, and he's like, "Hey, give me all your money." And Santa's like, "I just gave all my money to the Salvation Army. Like, I got nothing for you." But Onija, he doesn't take that very, very well, and he just cracks him in the mouth with his pistol. And just pistol whips this guy a couple of times. And then once he's passed out, he decides, all right, well, they know what clothes I'm wearing, so I'm going to take this guy's Santa suit and put this on. Now I can walk right by the cops, and they'll never know.
Yeah. Stupid
So
cops.
basically, it turns into Christmas Evil after that, where now he's dressed like Santa Claus, and the cops don't know which Santa Claus it is.
and for those not aware, Christmas Evil was a 1981 or 1980 film that we reviewed on LCS last week, and it is awesome. You should go check that out.
It's got its moments for sure. So this Onija, he decides he's going to break into a house and try to steal some jewelry or something, anything he can find. That's going to get him out of allow him to leave town, basically. So he goes into this house, sneaks in the window, and a little girl's voice says, "That's you, isn't it, Santa?" And he's like, "Uh-oh, busted." But it turns out the little girl's blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wrote him a letter, asking for her sight back.
Yep.
And so, let's see. Even though I can't see you, I can almost tell exactly what you look like. And he's like, look, I'm on a tight schedule. You know what I mean? So he's like, maybe you sit down over here and I'll just kind of, work up my magic to be able to do this. And, she's like, starts crying because she really wants her sight back. And he's, just basically stealing things right in front of her because she can't see it. So he's just taking all the silver and everything, all the candle holders, just ripping it all off. And he's like, oh, I got to go to the roof, and I'll start warming up my powers up on the roof there. And she's like, oh, okay.
Let me stop you there. When he gets to the part where he's about to leave, like we get a cutscene to the cops, but the final panel of the Santa guy on his knee and the girl in the background sitting in the purple chair. Do you see that panel there? Yes. What's going on with her legs there?
Oh my God. Yeah, the blindness is the least of her problems, it looks like.
I don't know what is happening. Like, was that, it's like, it looks like she has 3 legs and they're all twisted up like a pretzel. Like, was that one supposed to be her
over
arm?
The top. Oh, no, because her arm is.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be her arm, but it almost seems like he wanted it to be her arm, and then he looked back and he's like, no, that should be her leg, and then he forgot to delete the other leg, like he erased the other leg,
Yeah.
Like there's 3 legs, and it's very weird.
Yeah. Just stacked on top of each other. It's bizarre. I didn't even notice that. That is creepy.
It's very strange. That poor girl. First the blindness and now this.
Yeah. Now the 3rd leg. But yeah, we check in with the cops, like you mentioned, cut away to them, and they found the Salvation Army guy, realized they took his Santa Claus outfit, so they're looking for Santa Claus now. So he's like, everybody fan out, we're going to search the entire area for Santa.
Hey, but look at the panel at the bottom. Have you ever seen this done before in a comic book? Like the panel is set up off the page. They put a shadow behind it to make it look like it's a photo almost lying on the page.
Yeah, like a Polaroid.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know if I've ever seen that mixed into an otherwise normal page before. Like you see it done for effect. But like the way it's done here, because like the outer panel border, it joins into it. So the bottom right corner of it is normal, and then the top left corner is off the page. I don't know. It was unique. I don't know if I've ever seen
Kind of
this.
like the old Batman show where they would always do those Dutch tilts. It's pretty much trying to do that, I guess. Just get this one a bit off kilter.
I don't mind it or anything, but it's unique. Definitely unique.
Yeah, I like it. I always like when people mix it up a little bit. It's always pretty cool.
So this creepy Santa Claus guy, he just ties up all the goods and he's gonna hightail it to the roof there, Jank.
Yeah. Coast is clear, but I better not take any chances. By now they probably found that old geezer I roughed up. Be right back, kid. And so he's climbing up to the roof and he's gonna scamper across the rooftops. But he starts hearing a jingle jingle and then there's a thud. And all we see is the real Santa coming down the chimney. And he's like, "Oh, hey, little girl, it's me, Santa." He's like, "Wait a minute, I just talked to you." So she says, "I don't understand. There's no need for you to worry about a thing, child, but we will have to hurry. Why, the sun will be coming up in Europe almost any minute now, and heaven knows if I'll be on time to China in the Far East. Now I want you to banish from your mind all unhappy thoughts. I want you to think about sunlight and flowers, and a rich golden moon and a night sky full of sparkling stars, and about all the beautiful, wonderful things that make life the joyous thing it is." And then she can see.
Yeah. For a second there, I thought he was doing a commercial for Lucky Charms. Seemed very similar. But
Stars, horseshoes, clovers, and blue moon.
But yeah, now suddenly she can see. She got her eyesight back, all thanks to Santa Claus. And
so what I love about this is the fact that Santa Claus can cure blindness, but for all the real blind children, he just chooses not to.
Yes.
Apparently they're bad kids.
If only they would ask.
Yeah.
He would.
Should have thought of that. Darn.
Suckers. So
Matt Murdock, you're an idiot. Should have just asked Santa Claus.
She goes over and gets Santa a hug and kiss, and then he goes up the chimney. And what happens up on the roof there?
So he is getting, he's kind of starting to realize his eyesight's starting to go.
Which is ironic, because he just cured blindness.
Yeah.
His eyesight is starting to go.
This is going unchecked. Yep. Maybe he should have saved some of that magic for himself.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh man, if this sleigh were an automobile, I'd almost be afraid to take her out for a spin. The way these poor old eyes have been bothering me lately, I'd be half afraid I'd smack right into something." We see him take off from the roof, and right underneath his old sleigh there is Onija, just laying there dead. He got squashed by Santa's sleigh. There's a bunch of reindeer, hoof marks all over him.
Yeah. So Onija Smith got killed by Santa Claus.
Yep.
And
it's like Grandma got run over by a reindeer. But
that's exactly.
Grandma was a home burglar.
So there you go. That's that story. That was something.
Very, very joyous and Christmassy. Santa Claus just murdered a man.
Well, I guess it is like, they got to try and do that,
Yeah, exactly. I liked it. It's fitting.
All right. Next up, we have something called Oh Christmas Tree, written by Barbara Randall and drawn by Stephen DeStefano.
Mm-hmm.
And this art style is very cartoony.
Yeah. Reminds me of old Dennis the Menace.
Yes.
Strips.
Yep. Yeah. The old Dennis the Menace comic strips. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically it's about a rich couple there. And this lady, she's kind of a jerk, and she kicks a cat right at the top of the show.
Yeah.
So right away, I don't like her.
Not winning you over with that.
I'm team cat. But they're very rich and snooty and arrogant, and she's just real spoiled. She wants everything, and she wants a Christmas tree. So her sugar daddy husband, their boyfriend or whatever, he drives her all over the place, looking for the perfect Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. And they can't find one until they get out to a wilderness preserve. No poaching.
Yeah, she's always got a complaint like, oh, this one's fake. I want a real one. This one's dead. I want a real one. I want a live one. And this one's too regimented. I don't even know what that means. I want a wild one.
I didn't know what that meant either. So they go to this wilderness preserve where, you're not supposed to be cutting down trees. And they cut down a tree because her husband just whips out a chainsaw and hacks down this tree. And they haul it back to their house. And I thought, for a second, it was going to be like a Christmas Vacation situation where like a squirrel comes out and starts running amok,
Oh, yeah.
That'd have been good. But they have a big Christmas party. All the rich, fancy people are there. And then the party breaks up. They go upstairs to go to bed. And uh-oh.
She's plastered.
Yeah, they're all hammered.
Yep.
But uh-oh, Jank, the little Christmas tree, it's starting to come alive.
Yeah. Turns out it was live and wild.
Yeah. And not regimented at all.
No. This wouldn't have happened if we got a regimented tree.
So the Christmas tree, like its branches start busting through the walls and the ceiling of her bedroom. Mm-hmm. And they chase her out of the bedroom and she's running down the stairs and she sees her husband, boyfriend, whatever the fuck he's down on the stairs and he's getting devoured by the tree.
Yeah.
The tree is eating him.
Too late for me. Run.
Run.
She's running and just like falls straight on her face, like chin first, right into the ground.
Yeah, she trips over a tree branch there sticking out, or a tree root or something. A tree root, I guess.
Yeah, like grabs her ankle, I think.
And then like all the tree, all the little, what do you call the needles of the pine tree?
Mm-hmm.
The pine, they go shooting off into her skin and everything. And
and it's like taking apart the star at the top and like using the pieces to like stab her with. Attempting to.
And she's trying to get out the door, but the tree blocks the door. And then it just zeroes in on her eye real close. And she says, "No, I'm sorry. I said that I take it back." Because she wanted the tree to rot or whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so next we get a cut, and now it's the town. Everyone in the town who hated those rich people, they're like, that their whole house is destroyed. Now it's just a big tree. Right?
Yeah. It's growing now out of the ground and just keeps growing, basically. It fed off of their dead bodies and grew to enormous size.
So they cut down the tree. And, well, look, the guy cut down the tree shirtless, working in the middle of winter. That's a badass.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with that guy. Yeah. So, cause they say, we know where they could use a nice Christmas tree. And so they cut down this haunted killer tree and they take it to the White House and they put it in Washington, D.C. And yeah, I guess that's a joke. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a place that would want this.
And then they do a little thing from the White House, like an exterior shot. Merry Christmas, America. This is Carrie Chang reporting live from the White House, where the season's festivities begin with a performance by, and then I don't know by whom exactly.
Yeah, just some choir, basically.
Yeah. But the Carrie Chang, that's a Connie Chung joke.
Oh, I thought it was Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah. That's an easy mistake. It's an easy mistake. But
there's like a poem or something inside the Christmas tree here, but you'd think it was based off of "Oh Christmas Tree," but I don't think it is. There's no real way to make this work with that song, so
yeah,
I don't know.
It's dumb. It's not even worth reading. All right, so there's that, and then we get "'Twas the Night Before Xmas," and all through the world, no army was marching, no flag was unfurled. Oh yeah, I forgot this even existed. They do basically do a 6-page thing just telling people, hey, you're all going to die in a nuclear war.
And whoever's left, the aliens will get you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I forgot
this was dark. Yeah. This was kind of like Weird Al's Christmas at Ground Zero song.
But here's the other weird point. So these aliens, these little red aliens come down and they're visiting Earth, but Earth's been destroyed by nuclear war, Everything's destroyed. So they're about to leave, but apparently it's Christmas Eve and Santa Claus still delivers packages? Like, what's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah. I think the only thing I could think of was maybe he was just trying to get to the aliens. Like, he saw their ship and was like, all right, I'm going to hitch up the sleigh and try to get over there so that they'll take me with. Because he does say, like, hey, take me with you to where there's good boys and girls I can give presents to.
Okay. And then the aliens, like, they're
so
not
take
used
me
to
along
Santa
to your
Claus.
alien world. Take me where I can find good boys and girls. Yeah.
They're not used to Santa Claus. They don't know what's happening. So they see it, they think it's a hostile approaching, right? And they blow them out of the sky with their space torpedoes or whatever.
Yeah, like a giant space laser. And the rarefied atmosphere filled with the sweet, pungent odor of cooked reindeer meat.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? Who
One of my favorite lines in here was the real stretch when it comes to rhyming. Did automatic systems below somehow see him? Responding with one final live ICBM.
Yeah, that was a stretch.
I don't know. ICBM? Like, there's really no good way to make that rhyme.
I don't even see, like, credits for this. They wrote and drew that one. I don't know. But
maybe they weren't proud of it. They're just like, well.
Yeah. Need to feel something up.
Anyway, I kind of like this, though. I enjoyed it. There were some good lines in here.
So then at the end, we have a pinup of Elvira drawn by Paul Gulacy.
Yeah.
And she's in a little Santa outfit. And if you know, we've talked about Paul Gulacy on the show many times. He's a very distinctive style. Some people love it. I'm probably not one of those. Although he did do those Black Diamond covers for those books you gave me.
Yeah.
Sybil Danning. Yeah.
The covers were better than the interior art.
Yes.
I remember.
Yeah, he's a very, like, he's kind of like Jim Steranko ripoff, is how he was classified early on in his career. He evolved a little bit from that, but his style is very flat.
I can see that. Yeah.
So
it looks good, though.
Fan. Yeah, here it looks fine.
Fiction of Elvira. This is what got me to this book in the first place, was, somehow on Facebook, this was popping up as like a print that you could like actual order, like for your wall or something like that. I don't know, it was Redbubble or TeePublic or something like that, but they have this available so you can get it as like a poster almost. This panel, this splash page.
Hey,
so this is what I originally saw.
But I hear that TeePublic place has Shockma t-shirts. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, this Elvira. But, like, when I talk about him looking flat, like, just look at Elvira, like, the contours. Clearly, she's very gifted in the chest region, and he depicts that, but there's no depth to it at all. Like, it's just, like, the lines of the shirt go down. Like, if she was a three-dimensional being, those lines of the shirt would be much different. Going down, around, and down. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I think they tried to
style.
cover the coloring. Like, it kind of has some dimension with that shadowing, like the darker blue around the edges.
A little bit.
They gave it some.
But, like, the belt and the edge of her breast would be on the same plane, basically. I don't know. Anyway, Paul Gulacy, we might encounter him next week as well.
Oh, interesting.
A little spoiler alert. But anyway, all right, so there we go. Elvira's Holiday Christmas Special. What'd you think there, Jim?
Glad they brought Elvira back at the end, finally. She
really needs to be in all the stories. Like, because Kane would always, like, appear, like, in the little bubble at the end or something. And
yeah.
Like, we need that.
Yeah, something.
So what'd you think?
You know what? I honestly had a good time reading this. All the stories were kind of dark. So I kind of liked how they, did a very dark Christmas story. So I was going to give it an 8, but I'm going to give it a 7. I have to take a point off for its lack of Elvira. There should have been more Elvira.
Holy hell. An 8?
I'll give it a 7.
I didn't enjoy this at all. I don't know. I like the Elvira. And I thought Frank Springer did a good job with the Elvira, the art there. The Gulacy pinup at the end was nice. But I don't know, the other stories, I Well, why am I wasting my time?
I mean, look at this line from that final night before Christmas story. There were no more soldiers, living or wooden. No more Ferraris. No more Dwight Gooden.
and they show a Mets hat in the
yep.
In the waist.
He got snapped away by Thanos.
Yeah. I didn't like it as much as you. I didn't like it at all, really. But I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4.
Here's another good one. All of the creatures that once seemed ubiquitous had been irradiated into something quite liquidous.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good stuff.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy it, but Jank loved it. So maybe you kids out there will enjoy it, you know? But
yeah. It's worth it. Worth checking
I liked researching Elvira though. That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
A lot of research there for Elvira.
Scholarly research.
But there it is, the Elvira holiday special. So next week here on the program, I believe our old pal Miles Watson will be joining us for the first time. Yeah, since Mike L left the show. So you two arch enemies will now be working together. And,
yeah, we'll be teaming up.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I wanted to pick this book. When I was a kid, I remember seeing this book advertised a few times, and it was based on a film. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the film starred one Farrah Fawcett, who we just discussed on the LCS show not too long ago.
Please tell me we're doing a comic book based on that movie.
What was that movie? I can't even remember now.
Saturn 3?
Yes, Saturn 3 with Kirk Douglas. But no, the movie we're doing, or the book we're doing is Logan's Run. Logan's Run.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to be doing issue 6 of Logan's Run. And I think this is from like 78, 79, I don't know, somewhere around there. But the reason I picked this particular issue, there is a Paul Gulacy cover. He does not do the interiors. But we'll get into the backstory of why this happened next week. But not only do you get a Logan's Run story, you also get a backup story featuring...
I know what it is, I think. The Drax?
Thanos and Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah, this is the first appearance of Drax, right?
I don't know if it is. I'll do my research next week and find out, though. But,
yeah, I remember. If it's not his first appearance, it's like his origin, I believe.
Yeah, they don't even call him. They don't call him Drax in the story. They just call him Destroyer. You know. And,
yeah.
And we'll get into his character backstory and everything because his original look was not good.
Yes, it was quite different.
Like his current look is awesome. So
yeah.
Do you know who designed that? I mean, I'll look it up for next week, but do you know who gave him the redesign?
I know it was, well, I think no, I'm not sure.
All right. Well,
I know definitely the tattoos, I think, came about after the movie, but then they did make him look definitely a lot sleeker and the bald head and just kind of the bare chest, I think, came about in 2006-ish. So I'm not sure who was responsible for that, but it was sometime during that whole Annihilation thing that we talked about with Star-Lord. It's basically when that started.
All right. So next week, Logan's Run, issue 6 with our buddy Miles Watson.
It'll be good.
Yeah. Until then, don't get any jank on you.